Okay, hi everyone. Today we will learn about array lah. Array is our tutorial number 9. So yeah, we will start with some basic concept of array. Okay, normally we will declare a variable like this, integer a equals to 1. The problem here is we will have one variable with only one value. A equals to 1. We have one variable and one value. What happens if we want one variable with multiple values? So this is the job of array lah. The array will have equals to one variable with multiple values. Yeah, this is about array lah, something like that. So I will give you all the syntax of array. First, we will write the data type with an empty space and then the array name. This is something similar as what we done here. The data type and the variable name. Now we use array name. Next, we will open the bracket. Not curly bracket, but a square bracket. Yeah, and then either you can just end the code with a semicolon, or you can assign some value to it using curly bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, something like that. Inside the curly bracket, we call it element of the array lah. Yeah, so this is the syntax. Data type, array name. After the array name, we put a square bracket here, and then we assign value to it using curly bracket. Okay, so yeah, I will change to array. And then yeah, for example, now I assign value 1, 2, 3, 4 on this array. So what happens if I output my value? First value I can put like this. The first value is okay, where we look at what happened to this code lah. Yeah, we can see that the first value is equal to 2, but inside the element here we can notice that the first element is 1, not 2. What happened to my code here? Yeah, suppose the first value we put the index position is equal to 0. Yeah, we have a look. Yeah, so now we can notice that yeah, the answer are correct lah. First value equals to 1. So the key point here is the first element in the array is at the index position 0. Yeah, right down here. Index position 0. Yeah, this is our first key point. Next, I would like to say that for the array, all the value must be same data type lah. Yeah, this is some key point you need to know. For example, this is integer data type, so my element only can include integer value. I cannot put like 1, 2, 3, 4.4. Yeah, let's see what happens when we run. Yeah, we can see that there are some error here. Yeah, so all the value must be same data type. This is some key point lah. And then next, we can also modify the element in the array. I write down here modify. Okay, for example, in my array, index position of 0, I would like to modify this one. Assign a value to it, 100, and then let's see what happens. Sorry, my neighbor is under construction, so a bit noisy. Okay, so yeah, we can see here the first line of the main function here is the variable declaration and assignment statement. The next line is cout. Cout the first index, the first value is equal to 1 because we already given the value. Next, we modify it. The first index, the index position of 0 for the array is now equals to 100. So when I cout it, become 100, the output. The output become 100. So we can modify the array lah. Finally, we can give size to the array. For example, I can do like this: integer a, inside the square bracket here, we can give size 20 without assign any value. So with this line, the program knows that for the array name a, we need to store 20 values to it. The program will prepare 20 empty space or 20 storage for the array. So this is some concept about array lah. I would like to repeat. We learned in the previous class about one variable and one value. Now for the array, we will have one variable with multiple value. The syntax are given like this: data type, with an empty space, and then followed by array name, and then a square bracket. Inside the square bracket here, we put the size of array. When we assign value, we need to use curly bracket. And then inside the curly bracket, we have the element for the array. Don't forget to put semicolon. So we can modify the array. And last, we can give size to the array. Now we will straight away go into question number 1 of tutorial number 9 about topic array. For question number 1, we have two parts, A and B. So we will look at part A first. Write a program that input the following values in an array name price. So the array name already given is price. We cannot use another name . And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 input given here. So the array size is equal to 9. After the data has been entered, we straight away display the result. So what the question 1 is, we enter 9 value. After we enter all the value, we straight away display all the result. And we observe that the input here is include decimal place. So we use double data type. So we write our code. First, we declare some array. The array name is price. We have array size of 9. Next, we need to enter the input by using loop . I like to use for loop. And inside the for loop, we have 3 elements. First, we have initial index, I equals to 0. Why I equals to 0? We know that in the previous class, normally we use the initial index as 1. Now we use 0 because the initial index position for array is equal to 0, not equal to 1. So we need to have initial index of 0. Next, the condition is the index less than 9. Finally, update the index. Why not less than equal but less than? Because I already mentioned here, we start from 0, ends at 8 only. 8, we have the index at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not include 9. So inside the loop, we see in the array index. So what happened for this loop is, when the index is equal to 0, I enter a value and store the value inside the array in the position 0. And then for the next iteration, store value at index position of 1. Next, index position 2, 3, 4, 5 until 8. And then above, of course, I can give some instruction. Enter 9 values. Yeah, and then I see in all the result. Finally, I need to display all the result. I can use the same loop, but make sure we change the index name lah. We cannot use the same variable for both loops. So I change to J, and then now we need to see out the result. Then we can separate each result by an empty space. Finally, we give an end line here. Yeah, we run and see what happened. I copy down all the input here. Yeah, enter 9 values. I enter. Make sure we enter all the input with a space here, so that the program knows that this is separate inputs. Yeah. Then my result is display with a separate space. So this is about part A lah. We enter all the value and straight away display all the result. For part B, we repeat exercise 1A, but we need to display in the following form lah, 3 by 3. So we need to have some extra condition for n line. We need to add 3 n lines. Maybe 2 is enough. So we need to modify on the second loop lah. Displaying result if the index here is when divided by 3 is equal to 0, the remainder. Yeah, the condition here is when the index divided by 3, the remainder is equal to 0. I will see out n line. Maybe I will give the condition after I enter all the results. Yeah, after I display it, I will check whether it is the remainder is equal to 0 or not, the index. If yes, n line. Oh, cannot. We need to do it above. Yeah, like this. And then finally, we run and see what happens lah. We copy the input, paste to the console here, and yeah. But now we can see that the format here looks like a bit messy lah. The 3 by 3 here looks like a bit messy. So what can I do? I can make the output look nicer using Almanip. Include Almanip, and I can prepare some space for the output. For example, each output I give them 6 empty space. I prepare 6 empty space for each output, and then after the output, I separate them with an empty space. Yeah, I think this will make the output looks nicer. Yeah. I think that's all for question number 1, part A and part B. Now we move into question number 2. Write a program to input 8 integer numbers to the array named grade. So the array name already given is grade. Yeah, as each number is input, add the numbers to a total. And then finally, we need to display the numbers and their average. So for this question, we need to get 8 inputs and then finally display all the number and then their average. not displaying the total, yeah. Display the numbers and average. First, declare some array. The array name is grade. I give the array size equals to 8. And then, yeah, I can get the total. Of course, the first total is equal to 0 lah. We need to give some initial value to the total. Then next, give users instruction. Enter 8 grades lah. And then we need to get all the input using loop. So I will use for loop. First, declare initial index equals to 0. Condition here is less than 8. And then update the index. So inside the loop here, first we need to see in all the result. And then of course, when we enter all the result, we need to keep track of their sum of their total equals to total plus grade. And then yeah, like this. What happened for this loop? First, index is equal to 0. I will see in the value to the index position 0, and then I will get the total. So for this one, the total is equal to 0. Yeah, because the first total is equal to 0. Initial value of total is equal to 0. So total is equal to 0 plus the input. For example, my input is equal to 1. So equals to 1, and then store to the total here. So that for the next iteration, when I enter the value, yeah, I will keep track of their total. Is 1 plus the input 2, yeah, equals to something, and then keep on going. Okay, once we get all the inputs and I get the total, I need to display the numbers and the average, right? So I use for loop to display the result, and make sure we use another variable for the index. J less than 8, and then it update J. Now we need to output each number, right? I can do like this, J plus 1, and dot here, and a grade, and I, of course, and line. What happened to this line? Yeah, we can observe that the first output is J plus 1. The first iteration, J is equal to 0 plus 1, 1. Yeah, so for this one, the output is 1. Next, we have a dot here with an empty space. Finally, we output the grade. Yeah, this is the output we have for first iteration. And then next, this is not I but J. Yeah. Okay, this is the first iteration, and we have an end line behind here. Next iteration, we have 2, 1, something like that. Keep on going until the 8 result, until all the results are displayed. Finally, we give the average. Average. Average is equal to sum divided by 8. But not sum, is total. Yeah, total divided by 8. But of course, we cannot use divided by 8 lah, because the total is equal to integer. 8 is integer, so this is integer division. We don't want integer addition. We don't want integer division, but we want floating point division lah. So we add the 0.0 here. Finally, end line. Yeah, I think this is the answer for question number 2. We run and see what happened. Enter 8 grades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then enter. Yeah. The first grade is equal to 1, second grade 2, third grade 3. And then finally my average grade is 4.5. We try another one. For the first exam, for example, I failed my exam 10 marks. And then when I keep on learning, my results improve. And then I drop, then improve again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the last exam, I get 100 marks. Or I have one more. Yeah. So this is all my grades. Then my average mark is 61. Yeah, so this is all about question number 2 lah. For question number 3, we need to write a program that input 10 integer numbers into array named fmax. So the array name already given is fmax. Next, we need to determine the maximum value entered. My program should contain only one loop. Inside the loop, we need to determine the maximum lah. And the hint given here is maximum equals to the first array element. And then, yeah, I think this question we already learned in the previous tutorial class lah. So we straight away write the answer. Okay. The data type is integer, and array name already given is fmax. I need to input 10 integer value, so the array size is equal to 10. Next, I need to get the first element of array and then set maximum. I can do like this, 10 numbers, and then I get fmax 0. Yeah, this is my first element of array. The position is 0, index position is 0. Next, I need to assign it to max. Max 0. Yeah, I assign the first element in the array to maximum. Next, what to do is enter the rest lah, enter the value for the rest. Okay, because the first index already taken 0, so we start from 1. We not start from 0 but 1. And then the condition here less than 10 and update the index lah. And then inside the bracket here, we need to enter the input. Cin fmax index. After we enter, okay, until now we have 2 inputs, right? We need to compare these 2 inputs. If the second input here is greater than the first input is maximum. Yeah, first input maximum. If the second input is greater than the first input, I will update the maximum value. Yeah, this is for the first iteration. And then for the second iteration also same, I get the third input, and then I compare with the maximum. If greater than the maximum, I will update the maximum. Yeah, and then keep on going until 10 integer numbers. Yeah, all the numbers already enter. Finally, output the result. Max. Yeah, I think this is the answer for question number 3A. We run and see what happened. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, maximum is equal to 10. What if I change the position? 1, 3, 4, 2, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 inputs. Maximum is 19. Okay, this is question number 3A. Question number 3b, repeat exercise 3a, but now we need to keep track of both maximum element and the index number, the index position, and then after displaying the number, display these two messages. Okay, so now we need to do some modification on question number 3a lah. Now we need to keep track of the position. So I add another variable. The first position is equal to 0. And then I think here, when we update the maximum value, we need to straight away update the position for the maximum equal to the index. Yeah, now we add the position, and here we update the position. Finally, we output the result. We should output something like this. The maximum value is a colon and then the answer. So now see out the maximum value is okay. This is the first line. Then the second line is this is element number. This is element number. Okay, and then we put the position in the list of number. Yeah, I think this is the modified answer. Okay, we run and see what happens. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The maximum should be 10 and the index position should be 0. Yeah, the maximum value is 10. And this is element number 0 in the list of numbers, something like that. And then we can add the end line. Yeah, I think this is the answer for question number 3a and 3b. Now we move into question number 4. Write a program that creates an array of 5 integer numbers and display this number in reverse order. So the question wants us to enter 5 numbers, for example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need to display 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is what the question wants lah. Okay, now we observe that the question didn't give any array name, so we can assign ourselves. For example, I put number. Yeah, we need to enter 5 integer numbers. So next, give users instruction. Enter 5 integers. And then we loop it. Yeah, we just repeat the process lah, actually. Equal to 0. And then less than 5. Then update the index. Okay, now we see it, the number, and inside bracket here, we put the index. And this is the way we enter 5 integer value lah. Okay, once we enter the 5 integer number, we need to display in reverse. So I can write here the reverse order is end line, and then I loop it. Now integer j. Okay, now because we need to reverse, right? In the ascending order, the index position is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the reverse index position is 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so our initial index here should be equal to 4. And then the condition here is j greater or equal to 0, because our last index here is equal to 0. And Then we update. How can we update the index position? J minus minus. Because we decrease by 1 on each iteration. So minus minus. No more plus plus. No more plus plus, but minus minus. Yeah. Then we can see out all the results. Num j, and then we can either put an empty space here, or we can use n line. For this, I will put an empty space lah. Okay, I think this is the answer for question number 4. We run and see what happens. Enter 5 integers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the reverse order is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course, after the loop, we can see out n line, so that the results look nicer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When we don't want the n line here, I think the results looks nicer, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, in one line the result. The reverse order is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah. Okay, this is all about question number 4. Next, we move on to question number 5. Define an array name people types. So array name already given is people types that can store maximum of 50 integer values. So array size already given 50. And then we need to enter some series 1, 2, 3, 4. And for 1 represents infant, 2 represents child, 3 represents teenager, 4 represents an adult. So we only can accept 4 numbers lah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Other than that, it is invalid. And then when the integer number entered is negative, we need to stop it. And then yeah, my program need to count the number of each 1, 2, 3, 4 in the array. How many infants, how many children, how many teenagers, and how many adults in a school. Okay, so this is about question number 5 lah. First, we have 50. We have array size of 50, and then we need to determine. Okay, next we need to enter a value. When I enter 1, and the infant count plus 1. When I enter 2, the child plus 1 become 1. And then I already entered 2 value, right? 1 and 2. The third value I entered is, for example, -1. So when I enter a negative value, the program stops. And then finally I display the result. My display result should be 1 infant and 1 children, 0 teenager and 0 adult. Yeah, this is roughly image of this question lah. I will write the answer. Okay, first declare an array. Integer array, the array name already given is people type. And then we have the array size 50. Next, we need to count. We have 40. And then we give the initial value 0. Okay, this create an array with 4 box, 4 storage, and all set to 0. I write down here. Create with 4 storage lah. All set to 0. Yeah, this is the function for this line. Something like declare initial value to it. Okay, next we need to give some instruction to user. I can do like this, please. Enter. And line. And then I need to tell them. First is for infant. And line. Okay, 1 is for infant, 2 for child, 3 for teenager, and 4 for adult, if not mistaken. And then I need to give one more instruction. Enter negative number to end the process. Yeah. I think this is the information I need to give to the users lah. Okay, now I need to get users input, right? So I use loop to get users input. Inside the loop, we have 3 elements as usual. Initial index, condition, and index update. Okay, of course, the first line of the loop is get users input, right? Okay, once I get the users input, I need to determine whether it is negative or not. If it is negative, I straight away end the program, right? So if the value enter is negative means less than 0, I break. Yeah, we learned about break, right, in switch statement. Yeah, we can use it in for loop. Okay, this is the first step. Once I enter the value, I need to determine this is negative number or not. If this is negative, the condition here is true, we break. That means quit the loop here, for loop here, and then do whatever later lah. Yeah. Okay, if the number entered is not equal to negative, we need to check validation. We need to check whether it is 1, 2, 3, 4 or not. If this is out of range, we also don't want it. We only want 1, 2, 3, 4. So the condition here is if the input is equals to 0 or the input is greater than 4. Yeah, if the input is equal to 0 or the input is greater than 4, this means that the input is not 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is what I mean. Input validation. Okay, once the condition here is true, I need to give a message invalid input. Try again. N9. And then of course I need to I minus minus. Why I need to I minus minus? Because I don't want to occupy one space. For example, right? The first input I enter is equals to 1. Okay, so this is not negative, so I skip the if statement here, and then I validate. Yeah, okay, this is not equal to 0 and not greater than 4, so nothing happened here, and then I do the rest. For the next iteration, for example, I enter 5. This is iteration number 2, right? Okay, I determine, okay, not negative number. I skip input validation. Oh, this is satisfied because greater than 4. I will output invalid, but because this is the second iteration, right? I occupied a space in the array 5. So I need to minus 1 so that I delete this input. Yeah, something I call it is delete the input here. Then I repeat again for the second index, for the second iteration. Yeah. With this line, we something like delete the input and we does not occupy the space lah with an invalid input. Then we continue. Okay, once we validate it, we need to keep track of the count. So if the people type is equals to 1, the count 0 plus plus, yeah, we plus 1 for the count, then yeah, we do for the rest. Make sure this is separate. All the if statement here is separate, not if else, not nested if, not nothing. Yeah, this is individual if. If the people type is equal to 1, I count plus plus for the index position 0. If equals to 2, count plus plus for 1, 3, 2, 4, and 3. Yeah. With this code, I keep track of the number of the value entered lah. Okay, this ends our loop. Finally, we need to output the result. For example, number of infant is equal to count 0. Okay, then we copy paste. Number of child is just count 1. Number of teenager, count 2. Number of adult, count 3. Yeah, I think this is the answer for question number 5. First, we declare some array, and then this is the initial value. Next, give some instruction to the users. Make sure the instruction here is clear lah. And then we go into the loop. First, we get the first input. Okay, we check whether this is negative or not. If this is negative, we straight away break, and then we skip all the code here, and then we output 0, 0, 0, 0. If the input here is not less than 0, we validate it whether it is 0 or greater than 4. That means out of range lah. So we will output invalid input and try again, and then of course we need to delete the input so that it does not occupy my space lah, because we only have 50 space. And then once we validate it, we need to keep track of the count. If it is equal to 1, count plus plus, 2, yeah, and then 3, 4. Finally, output all the results. Yeah, we run and see what happens. Please enter, yeah, this is the instruction. So I enter 1. Okay, keep on until 2, 3, 4. Okay, until now, my output should be the number of infant, number of child, number of teenager, number of adults, all is equal to 1. And then and the 5, yeah, invalid input, try again. And then I negative 1, I skip, I just end the process, and then my output should be 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1. What happens if I just one input and then straight away end the process? I should get only 1 for infant, and then the rest 0. Yeah, 1, 0, 0, 0. I think this is the answer for question number 5 lah. A bit long, but yes, we just repeat the process. Follow the flow. Yeah, declare some array, give instruction, get users input, and then do some if-else statement. Finally, output the result. If you follow all the flow here, you should get the answer. Okay, for question number 6, we need to write a program that takes an array of integers and count the frequency of each element in the array. And then we need to display each unit element along with its frequency lah. Okay, now I will write the code, and then I will explain to you all lah, one by one. Num 5. Okay, now Because the question didn't mention about how many integers, I just assume it's 5 lah for this case. For some compiler, you can assume it is n. Okay, and then yeah, you can do something like this, integer n. This is for some compiler lah, but my compiler cannot, so enter the array size. Cin n, and then we put the user's input into here. Yeah, this is for some compiler they works, but for my compiler it does not work. So yeah, I will assume myself 5. And then so integer count 5 equals to 0. Okay, for this line I already explained what happened in the previous question, so I will not repeat it. And then now we need to enter the integer, right? We use loop. Integer I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. And then we give instruction, enter an integer, cin num. Yeah, we can get user's input like this. And then next we need to do some special trick here. J equals to 0, and then j less than 5, j plus plus. And then inside the for loop here, we have another for loop. Integer k equals to 0, k less than 5, k plus plus. Yeah, we have 2 for loop here. I will explain what happened later on lah. If integer k, if the number j is equal to number k, what happens is I will add the count of j plus plus. Yeah, I will explain it later, no worries. Finally, we need to output the result, right? We can do like this. For integer l, and then l less than 5, l plus plus, cout numbers, num l as frequency of count l. Okay, this is our answer lah for this question. Okay, we run and see what happens. For example, my input is 5, 5, 3, 2, 2. Yeah, number of 5 have frequency of 2 because yeah, we have 2, 5. Number of 3, we have frequency of 1. Number of 2, we have frequency of 2. Yeah. Okay, I think this is all about question number 6 lah. We have 2 for loop. Looks like a bit messy, but never mind, I've explained it one by one. First, for example, now we have number 5. So we have 5 elements, right? Separate by a comma. For example, my input is 5, 5, 3, 2, 2. Okay, so my number here. Okay, we look at the first for loop. J equals to 0, and then j less than 5, j plus plus. This is the 3 element in the for loop. Then when j equals to 0, Yeah, this is the position, right? And then next, I use another color, green color, for the next for loop. K equals to 0, less than 5, and K plus plus. Okay, now K is equal to the first iteration, K is equal to 0. Two pointing toward the same position. If the number of J, I circle by red color. If the number of J is equal to number of K, yeah, now of course this 2 is pointing towards the same value, right? So yeah, this is equal to each other. So count J, now J is equal to 0, plus plus. So count 0 now is equal to 1. Okay, now okay, I clear the color here. Now we still in the second for loop, green color one. Now K equals to 1. So K equals to 1. Now the arrow shift to here. Okay, so J remains 0, but K is equal to 1. Now I go to the if the number J0, number 0 is equals to K. I explain clearly, if these two is equal, then plus plus. Yeah, now I see that these two are equal, 5, 5. So again, J is equal to 0, count 0 plus plus. So now become 2. And then I still in the green color for loop, but now K equals to 2. Then I check if two numbers are the same. If these two numbers are the same, and then I plus plus. Now, not the same. So yeah, I will just skip the line lah, and then keep on going. Still in the green color loop. 3. Okay, now not the same. We skip and then go to the last one. 4. Okay, still not the same. So yeah, we end the first one. Then only we go back to the red color loop. Now the position come to here. Yeah, then J equals to 1, K equals to 0, and then we compare and then we repeat the process. Then we should get our output. Yeah, I think this is some things you need to know about these two for loop. Yeah, so after the explanation, you should know the mechanism for this for loop lah, for these two loops. Okay, so I've explained the overall code, what happened to this code. First, yeah, because my compiler cannot do the, I explained just now, like integer n and then get user's input. So I just assume this is 5. Of course, you can assume 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, no problem. And then for this line, yeah, we assign initial value lah, all equals to 0. And then we get user's input. Once we get all the input, we check one by one. Finally, output the result. The number, the first number, has a frequency of, how many frequency? We already calculate the frequency here. And then make sure for the 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 for loop, right? Okay, I write down here, we have 4 for loop. Make sure we use 4 different variables for each loop, for each for loop. Yeah, and then you should get the correct answer. And then because this is around 1 hour, so yeah, for the rest of the question, I think you can do it yourself. Yeah, we will end our class now. Thank you.